Hi everyone, this is Megzobo69 with Take the Red Pill. So we have gone through the whole introduction of the debate, and we have also gone through questions 1 through 9. Now we are at the last question, number 10. And so far I have not seen a change in this theist, Lamont Mapp's, line of reasoning. And so we shall see if maybe something miraculously will happen, but it should be interesting. So anyway, on with the 10th and last question of the series.
Thank you guys. This will be our last question for the evening, and then after that, you guys are dismissed, and that'll be it. Obviously, both of these guys are going to be hanging out for a little bit. If you want to come up and ask them a few questions and dialogue with them, like I said, no fist fights. That's the most important thing here. And this is the last question. It is for Jason. Do you believe truth is relative to personal experience? And if so, don't atheists have to allow Christians their own relative truth that God also in turn exists?
Wow, that was actually a pretty good question. Not sure who it came from, but I'm assuming that it came from a theist. Let's see what the answers will be, because it should be interesting.
I'm kind of puzzled often because I hear people say, well, as an atheist you must believe that everything is relative or something like that. Truth is what corresponds to reality. Now, we don't understand everything about reality. We have gaps in our knowledge about reality, but that doesn't mean that truth itself is non-existent. So truth is foundation. It's like the laws of logic. It's a description of existence. So what's true, what's not true is not true. But what our knowledge is about truth, what we know about truth, is limited to our humanity. And that's why I say that we cannot use supernatural explanations. We cannot use what intuitively we feel, our human religious experiences and these types of things to try to explain truth.
Okay, so if the individual who posed the question was referring to facts, then yeah, facts are facts. Truth will come from facts. I mean, it's just that simple. They're not going to come from any supernatural being or experiences, or, the bottom line is the truth/facts will stand on their own merit. And I have to agree with Jason. Truth or facts should not be based upon feelings, religious experiences, or any supernatural beings. Again, they will stand on their own merit and can be proven by empirical evidence, by direct observation, and by other means, not by some sky daddy or supernatural being did this. Because more times than not, if anybody's heard of Occam's razor, the simplest thing is generally what will be the most logical and plausible explanation, not something that's extraordinary claim.
We have to rely upon the empirical method of what we observe about reality around us to come to a knowledge of what is true and what is not true. And that's what the scientific method does.
So yes, we do have to come to the truth through empirical evidence and through reality. Not from an invisible being that nobody ever sees or really knows personally through direct observation. In which case, his demands are done through a book, and people have so many different interpretations of what his stipulations are, and there's mass confusion. That's not reality. That's not the truth. That's a fairy tale.
The idea that science can lead us to all truth is not scientific. That's not even a statement of science, if you think about it. Is that a scientific statement? Science leads us to all truth? No, it's philosophy. It's actually scientism, is the idea that science can lead us to all truth. It can't. If it could, we would have to shut down math classes, philosophy classes, art history classes. So it's self-evidently not true.
Okay, well, I guess nothing has changed. Ad hominem again. Or, excuse me, strawman fallacy. Jason never said that science is what leads us to all truth. He said that the way you come to truth, that's what science does. He didn't say, again, that it's science that you gotta use to come to the truth. But here's the thing. You know, one can believe in something that's invisible, non-existent, and imaginary. Is that the truth? Is that the truth we want to live by and make that our reality? No, I'd rather live in true reality. Things that you can see, things that you can observe, things that could be explained. That is reality. And anything that could be explained, and not explained through magical wizards or, you know, skydive, invisible skydives, but things that have rational explanations, that's reality. And we should not operate and live by any other means but what is true reality. Because when we do, that's when everybody's perception of things get distorted, and within the same context or the same mind frame of, you know, any one religion, that's when you get all these different stories that are a bunch of hokey that don't make sense and that are contradictory to each other. Look at the book. Look at the Bible, for example. You put Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John right next to each other on the exact same events, and you got different stories. How do you think that came to be?
Jesus said, I have come to testify to the truth. Jesus was the truth, and therefore, all truths lead back to God. Did we evolve? Untrue. I think I've proven that tonight. If anyone wants to come and have a conversation with me afterwards, I'd be more than happy to have a conversation with anyone about what I have in my little black book over there. Can science tell us everything? No, it can't. And I don't really have anything else to say on this. Sorry, I don't have much.
So did he prove anything on evolution as he claimed he did? Absolutely not. All he gave us was just nothing but pure rhetoric. Nothing to back up what his claims about evolution not happening. Because here's the one question I would have for him. If he truly believes that evolution has not happened, then are you trying to tell me, is he trying to insinuate that every single species on this earth was actually on Noah's Ark? I mean, think about this for a second. Look at how many species of just snakes and spiders that we have. Deadly, venomous, poisonous. You think all those animals would have survived? How in the world did they capture and tame all those animals? I mean, if the story is true, which I don't believe it is, those animals, if they took 2 of each kind, that maybe would have filled up the ark, and that's about it. But it would be 2 of snakes, then 2 of dogs, then 2 of cats, like that. It would not be 2 of every species of snakes, 2 of every species of insects. I mean, there just would be no place on that boat. I'm sorry. So if he truly believes everything in that Bible and everything about that story of the Noah's Ark, then evolution had to have taken place in order for us to have what we do right now. And let's get a little bit more scientific. Look at diseases, how they've evolved. I mean, look at the common cold that we've had that we are able to just, have cold medicine for. But now there's a strain out there where there's no cure for it. It just has to run its course. So evolution does take place. He's pretty ignorant to that fact, but so are many other theists. And just because Jesus claimed to come to testify to the truth, that doesn't mean that that truth leads back to God. That's a serious fallacy. But let's also take a look at something else that Jesus himself said in the Bible, and I'm going to quote it and tell you the verse. In Matthew chapter 5, verse 8 through 9, he said, "For truly I say unto you, until heaven and earth pass away, not an iot, not a dot will pass from the law until all is accomplished. Therefore, whoever relaxes one of the least of these commandments and teaches others to do the same will be called least in the kingdom of heaven. But whosoever does them and teaches them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven." So, Jesus never came around and said, by those statements, Jesus said that all of the commandments will not pass away until earth passes away, period. And whosoever tells somebody to do less or not all of them, they're going to be least in the kingdom of heaven. And whoever does teach people to do all of them will be called great in the kingdom of heaven. Now, in the same chapter 5 of Matthew, further down in verse 17, Jesus himself said, "Do not think I come to abolish the law or the prophets. I did not come to abolish, but to fulfill them." So Jesus never came to negate or take away all the laws. And by the way, there are not just 10, the way a lot of Christians say. There were 613. There were a lot more, and they covered quite a bit. So maybe they need to go back and read their book to see all these commandments that they are not following. And now who's guilty of possibly being the least in the kingdom of heaven? So, again, he used the straw man fallacy because Jason never said that science will lead us to the truth and that science is the truth, or that we have to use science for everything. What he said is the way we come to information is the way science does it. Think about this for a second. If someone was to tell me that they can jump over the Empire State Building in a single bound and land on the other side, now I could be just like a typical Christian or theist and say, okay, I believe you, and believe it, and end right there. Or I can do something that's more of a scientific method and say, how about you show me the proof on that? Let me see you do it. So, you know, this theist has all his facts backed up wrong, and he's just spewing things just for the sake of saying things. I don't even think he knows what he's saying anymore, because he doesn't have any information to back up what it is he is saying. This is the type of rhetoric we see from a lot of theists, and it's just ongoing. And it's about time someone with common sense and logic puts forth something to them and, you know, challenges them somehow. Who will be the person to do it? Anyway, let's take a look at the remaining of the video. From this point forward, this was the last of the video. I think Jason has to speak one more time, but let's just watch it and see what goes on.
Science is not a perfect tool, but it is the best tool that we have, and that's what's important. I didn't say that science is perfect, but it's the best tool that we have to get there. Now, I do want to say, I know I'm not going to convince people tonight, but if I get any message across, I want you guys to go out and search for yourself. Don't rely upon what religion tells you. Don't rely upon what anyone else tells you about religion or anything else. But go out there and seek it on your own. Seek the truth and find out. Go find out what the record of the resurrection is.
Well, Jason is right. He never said that science is a perfect tool, because right now there is nothing that is perfect. However, science is the best tool that we do have for finding information. I mean, let's take a look, for example, at like the typical coughs or just things, you know, you look about, you know, 200 years back. You know, you had, if people had like diseases or whatever the case is, it was attributed to, you know, you did something wrong, God cursed and punished you. You know, common cold was thought of the same thing. How do you think they came up with the thing of God bless you? You know, they thought when people sneezed, you know, your soul, something happened to your soul, which the devil can, you know, quickly get in, and, you know, that'd say God bless you, so the devil wouldn't get into your soul. And it's just something simple like you may be coming down with a cold or something, you know, something simple that science has figured out. So anyway, these are the type of things that we see from theists a lot. You know, a lot of straw man fallacy. Sometimes, a lot of times I've seen ad hominem, where they attack you personally, not the topic at hand. And then, you know, they use a lot of illogical other fallacies where, you know, goalpost shifting. They do not come up with any facts on their beliefs. They just simply say, this is what I believe. They come up with Mickey Mouse things to support it. And when one looks at it, a lot of times, it has nothing to do with what the heck they were saying in the first place. So anyway, that's the end of the series. And now I'm going to get to other topics still regarding or relating to the Bible and, you know, theists as a whole. I hope you enjoyed the series of this debate, and we will have many more to come. Until next time, this is Megzable 69 with Take the Red Pill.